ceiling for the first time, so I don't know if the legislature plans to up that ceiling so that that will be available for more children, but I would love it if they would do that. But that is one way that Georgia has already started helping to some degree, but it certainly doesn't cover all of it. You're absolutely right.
One of the things that I mentioned something that Joel brought up about our prison systems, and in the past, there's always been an assumption made that poor communities resulted in poor school systems, that our poorest schools happen to be in poorest communities. Studies that have been done recently, as I found out in the past few months, we're beginning to see that it may be the reverse, that it's poor performing school systems are actually producing poor communities. That the kids are dropping out, they're not getting outside the boundaries of their zip code, and they're resorting to criminal activities, one out of boredom, two out of being able to feed themselves because they have not been educated and able to get a job. And so studies are beginning to show now that it could be the reverse of what we have always thought of in the past. Well, it's poor community, poor school. It's actually poor school equates to a poor community.
Saw another hand. Yeah, Daryl, and then to the back.
You talked a little bit about, a lot of it about school choice for children, and you touched on teachers too, but would this not give choice for teachers as well?
Yeah, we've heard that from some of the emails flying around. This hurts school choice. Charters in particular hurt teachers. If I'm a teacher, why would I want this?
I can just respond with emails and contact that I get from whenever we deal with issues like this. There is quite a few teachers out there, larger numbers than I thought, that do support school choice because they see what's happening in the classroom. They feel that their hands are tied, and they want more opportunity. And if charter schools are made available, or we would see it, honestly, if we were to able to do something where the money followed the parent, and they had the ability to choose the best school for their children, you would see an increase or growth in private schools. You would see an increase or growth in charter schools. It would open up more employment opportunities for teachers, so it gives teachers more choice in where they would like to teach. And I've had some teachers tell me, I would even take a pay cut to know that the work that I'm doing is actually having an effect and have the ability to use the tools that I have been given and taught and the certifications that I've received to be able to help children and be freed from some of this bureaucracy. In this commission I talked about, the statewide commission, it wasn't focused on education, it was on business. It was on how are we going to create more technology jobs in the state of Georgia. When I created that commission with legislation, I went outside the boundaries of what we normally do. We do what's called study committees, and that's typically when a legislator has an end in mind, and so we create a committee and we only invite the people who testify to support what we wanted to do already. I didn't want that with this commission. I wanted it to be an open mind, open door, and we go throughout the community and they tell us, the businesses tell us what they need. So we included various departments of the government to sit on that commission, including a representative from the Georgia Department of Education. After our fifth meeting, I think it was our fifth or sixth meeting, we actually held here at the Telescience Museum in Cartersville. We had, again, panels of industry coming. We went back in the closed door session to discuss what we had learned over those 5 meetings. In every meeting, education, an educated workforce, and the failure of our public school systems to create an educated workforce was a key component of every meeting. One of the members from the Department of Education, as we're going down the room, and I asked all of them as chairman, I said, what have you learned so far? And her quote was, my eyes have been opened, our Department of Education is swimming in a sea of bureaucracy, and we are drowning.
Got a question, another question in the back.
Thanks, Paul. Sorry I stepped out. I don't know if this is brought up or not, but I came down here from New York State 40 years ago. Georgia was 48. We're 40 years later. We're still 48. Employed, we are a right-to-work state, or employee at will.
Frank, I agree with you. It's a dovetail to something we talked about. I know, in fact, when I was answering a question earlier, I was looking for you and noticed you had stepped out. It's okay, I understand. But you're exactly right, and I just want to clarify one part of what you said, though. When you say they're not doing their job, I want to be clear. This kind of goes along with what Senator Loudermilk said, too. And I can say anecdotally, from what I've seen in the last few weeks as this has become a more prevalent issue, school teachers seem to be about 50-50 on this issue. I mean, there are a lot of school teachers, traditional public school teachers, who are adamantly supportive of school choice as an alternative system to our current problem. And so I want to clarify that when you say they're not doing their job, we're really talking about a system that is failing, not necessarily teachers in the classroom who aren't doing their job, or even administrators who aren't doing their job, but a system that is that has an albatross of bureaucracy around its neck, and it's the system that is failing, not the teachers or the administrators who are failing to do their jobs. So I think I agree with you, and I know you well enough to know that I think that's what you meant. Okay, so good. I just wanted to clarify that point.
I have a daughter, 8 years old, and she's now taking the tag. All she can do is survive every day because the system just won't let them perform.
Right, it's a system problem, not truly an individual teacher or personnel problem.
Do you have any other questions? We've got a question in the back. Yes, ma'am?
Do I understand you say that these charter schools, magnet schools, home schools, whatever school we're talking about, that even though they receive state funding, they do not come under federal guidelines and mandates? Is that what you're saying?
Charter schools do come under federal mandates. They do have to do the No Child Left Behind testing and all that stuff. Actually, the Georgia schools just got out of that. The charter schools cannot. They have to still do that, even though the Georgia schools just got a waiver for that. Homeschools do not have to go under federal guidelines. They are operated under state law. And I believe the same is true with private schools. They're operated under state law. The school board has some responsibility for collecting the paperwork that homeschool people turn in. I'll tell you what they did in my county. They threw it in a box. And I asked them, and they said, oh, we just throw it in a box. And I said, well, what about when my kids need a driver's license? And they said, well, did they go to school? I said, yeah. And they said, well, okay. They did the form for me. So anyway, that's the kind of help that was in my county. I know other counties are much more diligent about it, but I think there's a law right now to have the state school board start collecting that paperwork because it's just a paperwork matter that the parents turn in to the schools. But there are no regulations federally about homeschooling or private schools.
And
Or charter schools.
to clarify, there is neither public funding